YouTube channel. But I want to ask our subscribers to take the next step for us and become a full-fledged member of Monte and the Pharaoh. Yeah, that's right, folks. There's 3 different levels to choose from. There's free shirts. There's free autographs. Just check it out and become a member of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh. Later.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh, on a special Sunday night edition where we're doing 3 shows. The first leg was with the great WWE superstar Maven.
That was awesome.
How'd you like that, man?
He's cool, man. It was
so
awesome.
Tell me what you thought of Maven before the interview as a wrestling fan, and then after the interview.
Well, it's like it's worked out with a lot of our guests. I wasn't a huge fan of Maven on screen, obviously. And I got to meet him, and I was like, shit, this guy's awesome. He's awesome. He's got more mic skills than we ever saw him get in WWE.
No, you're right. You're right. I thought he was, I was kind of blown away, man. I really was blown
he was
away.
good.
He was really, really good.
That handsome devil.
He is a handsome devil. So here's leg 2 where we're doing special greatest wrestling families. But before we get into it,
Okay.
Road Dogg says current WWE star is better wrestler than Bret Hart.
Ooh.
AJ Styles has been a workhorse for the WWE since arriving in 2016. I can't believe it's been that long.
You
already.
believe this? Well, it's almost 7 years ago now.
Yeah,
Next
when
month.
when he debuted at the Royal Rumble.
Wow.
As the match's 3rd entrance in his 6 years with the company, he's become a 2-time WWE champion, Triple Crown winner, and a Grand Slam champion. Although Styles has had the accolades, hold on a second, losing my script here, to make him recognized as one of the greatest of all time in and outside of WWE, it's rare to hear him be on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, with many putting the names of Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart ahead of him. WWE Hall of Famer Road Dogg Brian James has a very critical of Hart, stating he never saw the big deal in him and said Styles was a better wrestler than a Hitman. Pharaoh?
Well, he is.
Wow.
AJ Styles is a better wrestler. He's got more of a skill set.
Wow.
Well, he does. Period. You see, Bret Hart, ground skill set obviously is the measuring stick, but AJ Styles has obviously a top tier ground game, and plus he's got all his aerial stuff. So yeah, AJ is more well rounded than Bret Hart.
Wow, I gotta tell you, I'm a little surprised.
Why?
Bret
Hart can't do a lot of the things.
Well, right now
that
it
AJ
seems like
Styles
Road
does.
Dogg's on this anti Bret Hart shit.
Well, I
going
understand that it's like unconditionally, you're supposed to just, declare Bret Hart the greatest wrestler of all time in the ring, and I say nonsense. Okay. I think Rob Van Dam had a great fucking skill set. So much for you, Bret Hart.
Wow.
I told Rob Van Dam that when he was here. What do you know? I wasn't just saying it.
So if I was to say, like, guys that have made differences in the industry, AJ Styles would be above Bret Hart for you?
No, we're talking about in-ring.
Just in-ring flat out.
Who's, like, better, or has more...
You know what? Now you say it like that, it's hard to argue that,
Yeah,
right?
that's all. Honestly, Bob Backlund in his prime, Bret Hart in his prime. What, he's so much better than Bob Backlund? Bret Hart? No. Matt Skills?
It's a good question.
Maybe I would give the nod to him, but man, oh man, that'd be kind of tough.
Has Bret Hart done more for the industry than Bob Backlund?
Sure he has. Yeah, I agree
right.
with that.
Okay.
That's different. That's totally. Bret Hart's done more than AJ Styles for this industry.
Sure.
But if you're just asking me who has a better arsenal and all-around in-ring ability, AJ Styles.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
Loose Cat in the house. Little Patty in the house.
What is up? What is
Little
up?
Patty.
What
Jason
up?
Morning in the house.
Hey,
Phil
Jay.
Just SRA in the house.
There you
ahoy,
go.
Ahoy.
What's up,
Phil missed the...
Phil missed.
He missed
Phil
the
missed
Maven.
Maven?
He missed Maven.
Oh,
He
Phil.
got in late.
That was good.
I was
really
really,
good.
really enjoyed that interview.
Yeah. Check it out later, Phil. Have a beer.
Medusa says Mandy Rose knew she was pushing it with her online content.
I
The
said that.
buzz of the wrestling world is Mandy Rose this week as a fallout continues from her abrupt departure from the WWE. Rose's release was a shock to many. WWE defended their move by stating that they were left in a difficult position with an online content of Mandy Rose. Okay, so basically, Medusa stated, if you're a talent, if you're under contract, only you and your lawyer in that contract and the person you're in contract with know what it is, so you know what is right or wrong. You know you're just pushing it to a certain extent.
I agree with this. I agree with it. I think that Mandy probably had an idea. I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So that's my gut
we
read
discussed
too.
on This Week in Wrestling that you thought that Mandy might have just said, "Hey, I'm done."
I'd have said, "Screw it. I'll get my own way out the door." It's possible. She had to know that this was going to come back to her. She had to, especially after you told me how racy some of this stuff was.
Right.
She had to know. So maybe that was her way of telling the company, "Screw you. Go ahead."
Do you think, mate?
It's possible.
You know, again, I'm very surprised that she got as racy as she did. I just never thought of her like that.
Right. She ever done Playboy?
No one. I don't even know if Playboy really.
Do they even do
I don't
that
think
anymore?
they exist anymore. To be
Playboy
honest.
doesn't exist
I don't think so.
anymore.
If anyone knows out there.
Wow. So what is it now? Plaything?
Jason Morning says now she can do full-time OnlyFans.
Great. I'd rather be a
The
famous
problem
professional
with this
wrestler.
thing, guys,
Hey,
is that
don't
once
know.
you lose the limelight of being in the WWE,
it's gonna fade,
you're just
man.
another pretty face.
Yeah, it's going to fade.
You know what I mean?
It is going to fade. Wow.
So you agree with both Road Dogg and Medusa?
Yeah, I kind of do.
All right.
Kind of do.
Very good.
Kind of do.
Very good.
Yep.
Our own Jimmy, to the right of the show, it's right over here is the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Farrell.
Right of the show.
Our own Jimmy Farrell, along with his
wall.
partner Bart Griggs, make up the band Wisteria Hall. Wisteria Hall sings some great songs as In My Dreams, This Life. Not far behind, Here Comes the Rain. You can find their music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page. You like and subscribe. Listen to them on Spotify, Apple Music, or Reverb Nation.
Bartman.
Sooner or later, we're going to have to change the script up a little. Do you
Well,
think?
when I drop it, what happens? They write in,
They get
and then you're like,
crazy
"Oh
with
man, they're not hearing the Bartman."
They want to hear the Bartman.
Yeah. Oh, what are you gonna do?
Let me ask you like that Wisteria Hall poster?
What?
The,
Where? What?
You had the original, it was black and white, but now you have the one with the green and stuff. You like that?
I prefer black and white, but that's me.
You don't like this one?
I don't dislike it. I'm not going to go that far.
Kind of promotes you more on this one, though.
Why? Because it's more eye catcher. We need eye catcher.
No, well, you got stuff. It tells you where to go.
Oh,
See,
I
it says
get
Apple
told where to
Music,
go all the
Spotify.
time.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's okay.
I like the snake better.
You like
too.
the snake?
Yeah, I
Oh,
like it better.
All right.
Why'd
All
you
right.
pick a snake?
What do you mean?
What does a snake have to do with Wisteria Hall?
You got something against snakes?
No, I'm just asking a question.
Just ride the
You
snake.
can't ask you a question?
Ride the snake to the ancient lake. What's wrong with you?
All right, so Wisteria Hall was built on the infamous Kings Park.
The concept came from
Right,
that.
from the infamous Kings Park
Yeah.
mental
Yeah.
facility.
There's a lot
right?
of snakes inside that abandoned building.
Is that what it is?
And rats.
I don't think there's snakes, though.
And
This is
octopuses.
Long Island, dude.
There's octopuses in that building.
So why don't you put an octopus in a Wisteria Hall? Man, that'd be pretty
I'd
funny.
like to be. Okay.
That's funny. Oh my
Oy.
God! No, but seriously, why you picked a snake? Yeah, just no reason in particular.
Listen, once
Snakes are
again,
cool.
okay. Jim Morrison's always been a thing with me. All right.
Yeah.
He was very fond of War Dance's logo was a lizard. I don't know if you knew that.
Did not know that.
Okay, War Dance's logo was a lizard, and this time around with Wisteria Hall, we happened to pick a snake.
Roy Batista's in the house.
So,
Little Patty says she loves your giggle.
Oh.
He loves your giggle.
thank you, little Patty. The next, what do you think the next mascot should be? We've had a lizard. We've had a snake.
I like the snake. I just asked what was the reason.
Maybe we
for
should have
the
a
snake.
beaver as our mascot.
I'm trying to be serious here. I just want to know why there's a snake.
That's
all
really
I'm
the only
asking.
reason. This is my, my.
Not
my,
that I dislike it. I like it. I get it makes the S. I kind of figured that
Yeah,
all out.
that. Just,
Is that the real reason? Because that's the
No.
only animal that can make an S?
that would have been hilarious. Well, let's see.
Reptile, not animal.
Squirrel?
Reptile.
No, that won't hit the S. No.
Well,
We're
it's
going to put a
tail.
squirrel's
You could've made
tail?
the
You know what
tail.
I mean? No, the S was
Could do-
perfect. That's why we named the band Wisteria Hall. So the S could be a snake.
I'm
That's
not
why
saying
we did
that.
it. I'm telling you, that's why we did it.
No,
We
no.
needed a snake in our logo. How about
Wisteria.
Wisteria Hall? I was
no.
like, that's perfect.
No, I get why. Like it make all right, whatever. You know, I try to have a serious conversation with you.
I told you,
It
it's
gets-
basically Jim Morrison thing.
All right, gotcha.
He was into snakes and lizards, and so am I.
If you don't know,
I
you're
used to
watching
keep
Long
snakes.
Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte the Pharaoh. See Monte the Pharaoh on the Monte the Pharaoh YouTube page, where over 2 million viewers have seen us. On the Monte the Pharaoh Facebook Live page, hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor. Catch us on the Monte the Pharaoh Twitch TV page. If you're lucky enough to live in New York, catch us on channel 115 every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 11:30 a.m. and channel 20 on Tuesdays at 9:30 a.m. We want to thank our new sponsor, Manscaped, where we talk to Maven about
Did we ever?
about trimming the bush
Yeah.
with the weed
Whacking the
whacker.
weed.
Please use the code MND, where our super producer there, Spidey, will run the banner where you could get all our information at the bottom of the page. We'll be right back after this commercial break, where we will cover the 10 greatest pro wrestling families. Now, I will tell you that I put together the list. I didn't even get a chance to talk about it with Pharaoh, so Pharaoh may disagree with it. And you know, this is what I think, but I'm usually wrong 90% of the time, so we'll figure that out. But we'll be right back.
See you in a second. That's right, folks. Canine Corral for all your dog daycare and overnight care. Call 631-549-1544. That's 631-549-1544. The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
In the mood for a freshly roasted cup of coffee? www.offthe-railscoffeeroasters.com. All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast. Monte the Pharaoh. Only see him here out of Indie Music TV, where we're going to go over the 10 greatest wrestling families. Before we get onto that, though, Pharaoh, on SmackDown during, I forget which match it was, but there was a masked woman that interfered in the match, and my thoughts were, and then I think I read something on the internet too, but it was my thoughts that Mandy Rose was under that mask. Do you think that's there's a pot? Now look, you don't get to see her, but you do get to see the ass.
Right.
And I was trying to go.
You got a
whose
picture
ass
of
is-
that ass?
I don't.
Show me the ass.
I don't have
I'll
the
let
ass.
you know if it's Mandy.
If you get a chance, look at it. But
Yeah.
is there a possibility that it could be Mandy Rose?
No, if it was, now they're going to swerve us. Well, she's fired. She quit. She was released. Oh, here she is.
That hasn't been done yet, though.
Yeah, but don't give Tony Khan any ideas. He'll try it. Oh, no, it's great. I'll do it every week. Nah, I don't think it's Mandy. Who do you think it is?
Well, I'm hearing unfortunate rumors that it's Chelsea Green also.
Oh, big deal.
Which means that your boy, what's his name's coming back too.
Who's that?
Zack Ryder, right? Because they're married,
Oh,
aren't
don't
they?
tell me that.
So if it's Chelsea Green, then you know fucking Knucklehead is right behind
Woo,
him.
woo, woo.
It's
you know
just like, dude, that guy, like some of these
what do you
moves,
got against Matt Cardona?
he just sucks, dude.
He's a Long Island boy. What's wrong with you?
I just,
No thanks.
it's like, I don't know how you even do it anymore.
Yeah, no thanks. How I even do it? I don't know how.
I don't even know how this could even be considered. It's just like, it's so, they're bringing back too many people, I think.
Yeah.
It's getting a little annoying.
You know, it's funny, and it's always the story, too. Look who just came back. How about look who came back and did something with it?
Thank you. Yes.
Well, this is the whole
Stop
thing.
bringing people back and do something with the things that people you do bring back.
And if you do bring someone back, make their run count. Make it valid. You know what I mean? It's just, there's nothing going on.
See, I almost feel like Triple H is reactive to Tony Khan now. Like, they're doing this, so we're going to do this, but we'll just do it in a bigger way. And
I'm not
it's
sure
like,
how reactive he is, considering that NXT doesn't look like much of a reaction at all. 'Cause
I don't think I'm talking about the main roster.
Yeah,
I'm not
but,
talking about NXT.
But back when they were reacting to the indie scene,
Yeah.
they were building NXT and they were plucking those big potential stars from other places.
So let me, you brought up last week. You're like, you hate NXT. No one's watching NXT.
I'm not thrilled with it. I
But
can't
let
say
me
I
ask you a
hate
question. The amount of people watching the older NXT to compared to now is the same.
I don't think it is. Because the bottom line is in the proof, NXT could sell out Barclays Center, which is, almost 20,000 people. NXT could not sell out half of the Barclays Center now. So I don't care what the ratings are
Yeah,
telling
but that
you.
was Sasha Banks and...
You're forgetting it was Nakamura too, Samoa
Yeah,
Joe,
right. It was a big
AJ
name.
Styles. I mean,
It was like main roster
well, not
people.
AJ, but
It was main roster
Kevin,
people.
Sammy, back in those days, right? It was guys who became made, and that's why I'm saying I don't think that Triple H is really so worried about Tony Khan because he's not developed. I'm not seeing the development coming out of NXT outside of Braun Breaker. I'm not super excited about too many things going on down there. So I'm not sure that if he's really grooming for the future to bring up studs.
Roy Batista saying, mark my words, Nia Jax will be back in 2023. You know, Roy, when you say that, I wasn't even thinking that could be
surprised.
the case.
I wouldn't be surprised. That
Oh, my
wasn't her
God.
ass you saw, though.
Oh, no. Well, that would have been a dead giveaway for sure.
Who's that ottoman?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, when she comes back, we can look forward to more broken noses and bloodied faces.
She made Becky Lynch, so something good did come out of that at one point, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're right, but it was still reckless as shit.
So while I was out, I meant to bring this up weeks ago.
Okay.
But while I was out and you were with ESO Creative, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting at home and I'm watching AEW, and
Mm-hmm.
Chris Jericho is wrestling this guy called Bandito.
Oh, Jericho loves him.
Okay?
Puts him over big time.
This guy Bandito,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, he wears this mask
Mm-hmm.
that you could see during the whole match. He's constantly adjusting this mask.
Right.
And I'm looking at him, I'm like, this is the spy versus spy guy.
Interesting. 'Cause
Jared,
I
you
thought-
could put Mad's Spy versus Spy up. It looks just
Oh,
like...
Mad Magazine
Yeah,
Spy
Mad
versus Spy?
Magazine
That's
Spy.
interesting.
It looks exactly like that picture he's got right now up
Right.
there
Uh-huh.
doesn't really show you what Bandito looks like.
Well, actually, it kind of does. Doesn't he look like the guy that was on like one of those Scooby
like
Doo?
that, look
there
at that.
you
Yeah,
go.
that's what Bandito looks like.
Nice.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, number one, all right, guy seems like a decent wrestler.
Right.
There's another one with a white mask. If you can find another Bandito, that doesn't really give you the look. There's a
Right.
white mask.
I
he
get
was
the
using.
idea though, just by looking at
But
it.
the dude's mask looks so uncomfortable.
Right.
And it was like, I'm like, this is utterly ridiculous. This guy can't even wrestle in this. You know what I mean?
He's Bandito. You better watch it.
Well, first of all, the name Bandito.
I know.
Yeah,
There you go.
There's
What's
a little
that?
Bandito. There's a
Definitely
little
spy
Bandito.
versus spy going on there.
It's like put the
That's
fucking hat
interesting.
on him, and he looks like
Yeah,
it's
but you're
just-
missing one thing. Spy versus spy is cool. He's not.
Yeah, spy versus Sky is cool.
Bandito's not so cool, but
Yeah, look, there you go.
oh my
There
God,
it
look
is.
at that.
There it is. And I was sitting there. I'm
Quack,
like, oh
quack,
my
quack.
God, they gotta point out that this guy looks like. And how can you wrestle in that, man?
I don't know. Is it just the mask that you find ridiculous about Bandito, or is
No,
it?
good wrestler, good build,
Okay.
but the mask is so like it was falling off him nonstop.
You think he's a big deal? AEW made a big deal when they signed him.
No, I just think I actually believe AEW uses the same wrestlers like the old school WWE used to use in NWA.
Right.
Where they put him under a mask and it's somebody else.
Is
I'm
that
trying
Andrade?
to figure out who the fuck
Is that
it is.
Andrade?
Looks a little too big to be Andrade,
Is it?
right?
Is he too big to be
But
Andrade?
I understand where you could think it's Andrade.
Right.
You know who I think it is?
Who?
I think it's that guy. I don't know the guy's name, but he's a bad
Bandito's
guy.
been around a while. Whoever Bandito is, he's been around.
You've known this guy?
Yeah, I'm aware of his
Where
name.
did it-
With a name like Bandito.
So wait a minute, I'm asking you.
I
You
don't
knew this
care.
guy's been around.
I knew he's been
you didn't
around.
find this fucking mask like is utterly ridiculous?
Dude, I paid him very little mind. Honestly, when I was reading about him, I was like, oh, okay, Bandito, whatever, next. You know. Look, the purist will jump up and down and tell you he's the greatest thing, since Mil Mascaras, I guess. I have no idea. He doesn't do much for me.
He's got a good build.
So what? I don't care about that.
Got greasy hair.
I mean, he's got greasy hair.
Greasy hair.
Okay.
Jericho loves him, you said?
Jericho loves him. Fucking absolutely loves him. I used to care what
Is
Jericho
that guy
thought.
marketable? Look at him.
Bandito?
Yeah. Look at him. Do you think that's marketable?
He's got a feeding bag on his face.
Exactly.
No.
Stupid.
I'm going to go with no.
It's stupid.
Yeah, no.
God, wrestling is so stupid
It
sometimes.
sure can be.
It's utterly dumb. It's like, what are you doing?
Maven would wipe the floor with him. No?
I think so.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
think so.
top 10 families. Ready for the first? Going
Sure.
from 10 to 1, all right?
All right.
Tell me if you agree, disagree,
I
all right?
can't agree with your placements unless it screams at me, but go ahead.
All right. Orton family, primary wrestlers. Cowboy Bob Orton, Sr.,
Right.
Bob Orton Jr., Ace Cowboy Bob Orton.
Right.
And then Randy Orton.
Nice family. It's a
Bob
nice
Orton
family.
Sr. and Andre the Giant were good friends, and and let me see, there's 3 generations of the Ortons.
Mm-hmm.
All wrestled in the WWE, and their service time happens to coincide with the first 3 generations of the McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Sr. competed WWE's predecessor of Capital Wrestling Corporation for Jess McMahon. Bob
Right.
Jr. wrestled for Vince Sr. and Jr., and Randy currently wrestles for Jr. Thoughts
Right.
on the Orton family?
It's a nice start to the list. We're old, but we're not that old. We don't remember Bob Orton Sr., obviously.
Right.
Junior was great. He's been on the show, Cowboy Bob Orton, and of course was heavily involved in the very first WrestleMania. And I love Randy Orton. This is a solid start to the list. I think so. I don't know if I'll be screaming about their placement until I see the rest of these. But
All right,
this is
well,
good.
Feel free to attack it.
This is good.
All right, number 9.
Randy, you know what we should also quickly? Who's the best of those 3? I think Randy's accomplished the most. Randy's the jewel. Who's the jewel of the family?
So is that fair? See, this is a
I don't
strange
care
thing.
if it's
No,
fair or
I
not.
understand, but is it
Yeah.
fair? I agree.
To Bob Orton Sr., no.
No, it's not.
It's not. But,
And
at the end of the day, who probably saw the most fannies in the seats? Who was with the most, it's Randy. Randy's the prize of the family.
This is such an interesting question.
Bob Orton Jr. is a legend. Don't get
Bob
me wrong,
Orton
but
Jr.
Randy
was
Orton's
ace.
career.
No, I got you.
Stop it. Randy is the prize jewel in that family at the end of the day. And keep in mind, they're all prize jewels.
Yeah,
These
right.
guys in the family, okay?
Just
Before
Randy.
anybody decides that I'm disrespecting one of the other ones, bullshit to that.
Yeah, but
the bottom
I
line
think we're
is
going to
this is
find out
Randy.
as we go through these lists
Right.
that the prize jewel is the last generation in most of the cases.
You know what? And it just may be that way. We'll find out.
All right.
But you can't penalize Randy Orton for what he's done.
No, I'm just saying.
You know?
Sometimes I think it might be a little unfair.
Right. Randy Orton's got 20 plus years almost basically now. So yeah, I'd go with Randy.
All right, number 9, I put the Wyndham family: Blackjack Mulligan, Barry Windham, Mike Rotundo, Bray Wyatt, Bo Dallas, and Kendall Windham, who I didn't put down here.
How dare you? Kendall's always getting the short end.
Kendall,
of the stick.
Kendall, just not getting any love.
Man,
Nearly all the Wyndhams have made their bones as part of a legendary tag team or faction.
right.
Blackjack Mulligan was part of the Blackjacks. He's in WWE Hall of Fame. Barry
Right.
Windham was part of the Four Horsemen. Mike
Right.
Rotundo, a.k.a. IRS, was part of Money Inc. And the grandson of Mulligan and the son of Rotundo, Bray Wyatt made the Wyatt family and eventually became the Fiend.
Interesting.
Thoughts on the Wyndham family
This is
being number 9?
This is a great family. I don't know if the placement is accurate. Like I said, I would have to go and see them all, but they definitely should be on the list. And now I start to wrestle with...
Phil, remind me of the Ortons. Barry O. Left him out of that.
Right,
Barry O.
That's it. Barry O's greater than Randy. He's the head of the table.
Phil, thanks. I forgot all about Barry O.
Right,
Unbelievable.
there you go. And Kendall.
All right,
Barry O and Kendall are going to have a tag team.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. Forget and me not.
So just seeing from 10 and 9, Orton's, Wyndham's, would you switch their placements?
No. The Wyndham family, I would put above the Orton family.
Okay.
I would, if I have to, and I will. But the real question is, who's the most successful? This is where the logic that worked for Randy, because it's a 20-year resume, does not work for Bray. Barry Windham's the head of this table.
Even over Blackjack.
Yep,
Fair enough.
I'm doing it.
How about Mike Rotundo?
Barry Windham.
Okay.
I'm doing that. Barry Windham, world champion? Yes or no?
Yes.
Barry Windham, Four Horsemen? Yes or no?
Yes.
Barry Windham over Bray Wyatt until Bray Wyatt's career is completely finished, and even then, I don't think he's going to top Barry Windham. That's just me.
Hard for me to agree. Barry
That's
Windham's
just me,
my
but I
top
will
10
put
favorite
Randy
wrestlers.
Orton over Bob Orton Jr. I will do that, but I'm not. Nobody gets over Barry in this one, not in my mind.
Fair enough.
Very
stuff.
good, very good.
All right, number 8, the Funk family.
Wow.
Primary wrestlers: Dory Funk Sr., Dory Funk Jr., and Terry Funk. And I don't think we can't really. What was he?
What about
Matt
Nydia?
Barr.
She's got funk.
No, Matt Barr. Matt Barr was he Billy Barr? What was
Nah,
he?
we're not going
Billy
there.
Joel Funk or whatever.
Billy. Bobby Joe.
For
Bobby.
75 years, the Funks have competed in a squared circle, and 75 also approximate now how many times Terry Funk retired. Terry is the youngest of the most famous member of the family and has reinvented himself in wrestling style in the 1990s, where he became a hardcore legend. The Funks at number 8. And not to mention that Terry has also been part of Roadhouse, Over the Top.
Right.
And,
Right.
you know, I think that other...
Well, they obviously deserve to be on the list. I can
Paradise
see that.
Alley.
Yeah. Stallone?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see them clearly being on this list. Don't have obviously any memories of Dory Sr., but have memories of Funk Jr. and Terry. Terry sits at the head of this table, right? I mean, there's no...
Well, if there's no Terry, the Funks aren't that big of a family.
No,
right?
Terry is the shit. I mean, although Dory was world champion and obviously had a very, very respectable career and was a technician.
Well, Phil's saving us today. Jimmy Jack Funk,
Jimmy
which
Jack.
was Art Barr, I think, right?
Right,
So,
yeah.
it
No.
doesn't.
He's Love Machine,
That's a
isn't
fake.
it?
That's a fake Funk.
Yeah, right.
Fake Funk.
Yeah. So Terry's at the head of this table, and yeah, this family's good. That
All right, so
that's
any
fine.
swapping between 8, 9, and 10.
The
Wyndham's,
Funks, the Ortons. Man, that's rough. Let's just leave it alone. I'm fine with the way you place these. What am I going to do? Get mad because Terry and Dory are behind Cowboy Bob Orton and Randy Orton? I'm not going to bitch. This is all good stuff.
All right, number 7, I put the Von Erichs. Now, this was
Now,
tough for me.
this is interesting because I think this is low considering you made this list.
The reason I put them as low on the list is
Mm-hmm.
because of the amount of time these wrestlers survived. Right? David passed pretty early in his career.
Yes, he did.
The other two brothers passed very early in their career.
Right.
Kerry and Kevin obviously had the longest tenure, but Kerry again,
Right.
I wouldn't want to say it's his prime, but he
Right.
you know, they didn't survive long enough as a
Right.
group, in my opinion.
And you know,
they were hot.
And for that reason, no one sits at the head of the table.
Right. And part of that family
Can't
is
do it.
Fritz, Kerry,
Can't do
Kevin, David.
Who do you think?
Obviously,
Who do you
Chris and
think in
Michael.
resume at the end of the day? Is it Kerry who sits at the head of the table?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, as much as people want to say David was
I
the
do want to
best
say
of them,
David, but I'm not going to do it. I mean,
can't.
Kerry.
You just can't.
Kerry
David did
what
not
Kerry
have that
did, and
career.
no, he passed away. He would have had a better career than Kerry, I believe. Yeah, maybe we just put Fritz at the head of the table because he was the father of all of them, and that's that. I mean, it's just very sad. Is there a curse in that family, or I mean, what is suicide genetic?
I think so in a lot of cases.
That's amazing. Wow.
Or at least it gives you the excuse.
That's really rough. Yeah.
gives you the excuse,
Well, it
right?
had to snowball in that family, obviously.
But I have
Wow.
to think, if you lose your family like this eventually, and then you have tough times and there's no one
Right.
there to help you.
The Grahams suffered from this too, didn't they?
Yeah, the Grahams did.
Yep.
By the way, the Grahams did not make the list.
I see. I just was thinking that. Okay.
But, all right, so no swapping. You're okay with this so
yeah,
far?
I'm fine with this. Yeah.
All right, at number 6, we have the Rhodes family.
Okay.
Dusty Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, and Dustin Rhodes. The Dusty Rhodes established one of the greatest careers in wrestling, despite not taking place in the WWE except for a couple of years. He was a mainstay in the NWA and WCW for much of his career, where he has one of the lead bookers and also promoted wrestling show. Dusty's older son, Goldust, took on his father in a different kind of memory, and then obviously Cody has come along a long way, where he was the builder of all elite wrestling.
Right.
The Rhodes family.
It's a good family to be on the list. It makes sense that they're on the list. I would put the Von Erichs ahead of them. So you finally, I got one that I would move up on the list. Dusty clearly sits at this table, at the head of this table. Does Goldust sit above Cody? Cody's not finished yet.
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to leave that one and wait to see what Cody does the rest of the way. But as of now, they're pretty much,
Goldust
had
people
a pretty
forget
good career.
that Goldust had a
pretty good
huge
career.
influence on wrestling for a while
Yeah, he
there.
had a pretty good career, Goldust.
He was one of the hot items during the WWE.
He was. and he still can.
RJ says he
go.
agrees with the Rhodes being on the list. I don't think you could leave the Rhodes.
Oh no,
off
they
these
should
lists.
definitely be on the list.
You'll be a little surprised.
I feel like the Von Erich family might have done
out of the 10 lot. When I read them, you'll be surprised. You may rethink this list,
Right.
Because there's an argument for every one of them.
Right.
At number 5, I put the Poffo family primary wrestlers: Angelo Poffo, Randy Macho Man Savage, and Lanny Poffo. Macho Man was a signature wrestler during the golden age of the WWE through the 80s and 90s to his flashy attire, gravel voice, and his "Oh yeah" catchphrase. He was arguably the company's second biggest star after Hulk Hogan and with Elizabeth. Leaping Lanny Poffo also became the Genius, so he was no schlub himself.
Right.
When he turned into the Genius, he also became very popular. His father also was a very popular wrestler for a time, but I think his father pales, in my opinion, to both of his sons.
Right.
Thoughts on the Poffos being at number 5?
Well, I mean, you said earlier if it wasn't for Terry, you're not so sure how famous the Funk family would be. I think this is more of an example of it than the Funks because Terry had Dory, and Dory was obviously a world champion. Here, if you take Macho Man out of this equation, are the Poffos talked about?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, there you have that weird.
By the way, Roy Petit
Thought.
says too much age difference between Dustin and Cody right now.
Right. Agreed.
Well, you
Agreed.
said you want to see how.
Well,
his
the only
career
thing that makes
plays
it
out.
incomplete as far as whether Cody's going to surpass Goldust is what remains. We'll see what remains with the rest of his career.
Do you agree the Poffos should lie at number 5?
No. Von Erichs are ahead of the Poffos. So are the Rhodes family. So are the Funks. Yeah. So are the Wyndhams. So are the Wyndhams.
Was Randy Savage a bigger star than Dusty Rhodes?
Yes.
Was Randy Savage a bigger star than Kerry Von Erich? I'm trying to
Yes.
pick out the major players
Yes.
in the family.
That doesn't matter to me. Now you're asking me about one person, not a family. This list is about a family.
But if you take that one person out of all these families don't fall on the list.
Do you?
Just understand
Did you
my
hear?
argument
No.
here.
Well, and I'll show that your argument only holds partial water. But the Orton family, Bob Orton Jr. was a main event star
Yes.
for WrestleMania, and so was Randy. Okay, so no, if you take one guy out, there's still a star. Okay, the Funks, Dory Funk Sr., Dory Funk Jr. was world champion of the NWA for 2 years.
Right.
If you take him out, you still have Terry. If you take Terry out, you still have the former NWA champion of 2 years.
Okay.
Okay, then you go to the next family, the Von Erichs. No, if you take David out, you still have Kerry, Kevin, and even his father Fritz. So no, you
Well,
could
you-
take
well,
you
but
could take 2 members out of the Von Erich family, and there'd still be 2
But you
legends.
told we said Kerry was the main player there, right?
He was, but
Take
David,
Kerry out,
but
kid.
David, and Kevin, those guys are no joke, dude. This is no joke going on here. All right, that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, and not that the Poffo family. All I'm saying is that they're not as stacked.
So
The
you're basically
deck is
saying
not as stacked.
the Poffo should be much higher, lower on the list.
Poffo should be down at 9. Would you put them ahead of the Orton family?
Yes.
Just for Randy?
Yeah.
Well, you can do that.
Look, that's why I'm asking.
I mean, we're
right?
judging families here, aren't we?
Yeah, I got you.
If we're judging families, then I believe that the Von Erichs are definitely ahead of the Poffo family as a family. My God, the Von Erich family, and the
right.
Wyndham family: Blackjack Mulligan, Barry Windham, Mike Rotunda, Bray Wyatt. Wow, are you kidding?
No.
There's quite a few big names going on
Understood.
there. So that's what I think. I think I would move the Von Erichs up and the Poffos down a bit, but that's no disrespect to Angelo or Lanny. I think Macho Man, your love for Macho Man might have springboarded this.
Well,
And
I
that makes
looked at
sense.
Macho Man being such a mega star.
He was.
You know what I mean?
He was, but does that mean Horace Hogan and it's the Hogan family now?
It's fair enough.
Here comes Horace
That's
Hogan.
why I want you to weigh in on the
Yeah,
list.
no, it's still, again, I can see why you place things where you place them. I just, that's why people have different opinions.
Number 4, the Hart family primary wrestlers: Stu Hart, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Davey Boy Smith, Jim Neidhart, Natalia Neidhart.
Wow.
It's a pretty big fucking
big-ass
list. And then if you
fucking
want to throw
family.
Roddy Piper in as being supposedly a second cousin.
Right, wow, this is a
I mean,
huge
this is a
family.
pretty
Yeah,
huge
this is
family.
huge. This is
Stu and
huge.
Helen Hart had 12 children, 8 boys who became wrestlers, and 4 girls who married wrestlers.
Where's Teddy Hart?
Well,
Eh.
now Bret Hart obviously is probably the main focus on this.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thoughts there?
This family is one of the great all-time wrestling families. That's
Did I
it.
push them too low?
I don't know who's left. We'll have to get to
when you look there.
We'll have to get to the rest.
All right,
but
does any
I
of the
would,
list
I
above
would
them
bump
pass
the
them?
Von Erichs up right behind them. The Hart
Okay.
family, like the Von Erichs, would be up here.
Gotcha.
And then and then perhaps the Rhodes family. But no, the Wyndham family's insane. The Wyndham family's insane. So I'd be bumping the Von Erichs and the Wyndhams up closer. That's what I'd be doing.
All right, number 3, the Flair family. Ric Flair, Charlotte Flair, David Flair.
Okay. Now, this one is very interesting, that this one is so high up because I don't even know if people realize that there's a Flair family going on here. Okay? We all know that Charlotte
And the other son, too,
we
by the
all
way.
know that Reed. We all know that Charlotte is Rick's kid, right?
Yep.
But as far as David's impact, let's just stop it. David could have been something, perhaps. I saw little bits and pieces, especially his talking, where he showed glimpses. But David had a terrible career.
Well, can I give you the reason I gave him number 3?
Because Rick and Charlotte are
the greatest,
two of the greatest
of all
wrestlers
time
to ever pop out of
Exactly,
anywhere.
that's why.
But it's almost like in this case, considering this is a list of wrestling families, I wouldn't have this ranked as so high on this family list because to me, it's like Rick had a very talented daughter.
Well, David was a good wrestler.
I'm not doing this because that means that we might as well throw Bruno and David Sammartino together. David Flair was shit on a shingle. Okay? I'm sorry. And I badly wanted him to have a good career, but he just didn't have, just like our quarterbacks in New York, didn't have it.
All right, so 2 of the greatest of all time and one who you consider the shits. Doesn't that kind of level out stuff?
No, not as a whole family. When I think of family, for example, when I think of family, I'm thinking of multiple people. Okay? The Wyatt family was 4 people. And that's just a make-believe family, but it was 4 people.
Right.
3 is a trinity. 3 is like, okay, I don't know. It doesn't feel like yes, they are a wrestling family.
And then you have Reed.
But Reed made no impact and unfortunately
Fair
left
enough.
us,
Yeah.
We, to me, wrestling family, Ric Flair and Charlotte as a wrestling family do not top the Von Erich family as a family. I guess it's all in your perception of family. Yes, they're a family. That's undeniable. But I can't put them with the impact that the Wyndham family has had on this business as all the contributors. Well, there's multiple contributors. Here we've got, like you said, some people feel Ric Flair is the greatest male wrestler of all time.
Right.
And we both feel already that Charlotte is the greatest female
Well,
wrestler
I
of all
don't think
time.
anybody could
So,
argue Charlotte. Not one wrestling fan, not one expert.
I agree.
You're just stupid. All right? It's like you might hate her.
So much for
whatever
debate.
else, but it's like,
You're
seriously.
stupid.
You could argue Flair and a million other wrestlers.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
You cannot argue Charlotte.
What if somebody says to you, Sasha Banks is a better wrestler than Charlotte? Do you think
Not
they're
even
an
close.
idiot?
Yeah, they're an idiot.
I agree with you, but I mean,
They're an idiot.
right.
There's no one you could even put on her level.
Charlotte Flair
It's
is
so far
effing
been
fantastic.
destroyed. It's
right,
been
right.
destroyed.
So outside of the fact, which Ric Flair would be chuckling at, he'd be like, outside of what fact? That I'm the greatest male wrestler of all time and she's the greatest female wrestler of all time? Yeah, outside of that fact, this family doesn't have enough other family members to put it with the Von Erich family,
So
or to
the
put it
problem
on
is
a
the
balanced
family
level.
being too small.
It's imbalanced. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not enough of it, or it's imbalanced.
All right. At number 2, I put the Anoa'i family.
Anoa'i.
Anoa'i.
Now that we've had Lloyd on,
Anoa'i family.
Anoa'i. Yeah.
Arguably the most accomplished
This
wrestling
family.
family in terms of in-ring activity.
This
6
family.
different members in an Anoa'i family are in the WWE Hall of Fame.
family.
Others like The Rock and Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Everybody knows the list. One day we're going to have to go through the list because it's so friggin'
The
complicated.
Rock, Roman Reigns, the Samoans, Rikishi. Could keep going. I mean, there's just so many of them. Tonga Kid's been on the show,
Do you
right?
disagree with this
Was
family?
Tonga Kid a relative?
Tonga Kid was a relative.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay. Yep.
he's a relative.
Mr. Lloyd Anoa'i was on the show.
Yep, he's a relative.
Yep. Yep. This family's insane. This is just huge. There's a million of them.
Phil says Charlotte's a legend already.
Yep, I agree. I absolutely agree. Charlotte is the goods. She's the goods on the mic. She's the goods in the ring. She's the goods with her physical presentation. Where is Charlotte, by the way? I'm missing the crap out of her.
They're just saving her.
For what? WrestleMania?
No, Rumble.
So the
She'll
Royal
be in the
Rumble.
Rumble. Yeah.
I got you.
And then she'll
Boy,
challenge.
why did she get such a long vacation? I guess they're letting her know you killed yourself for the last 5 years. Take 6 months
I think
off.
also they wanted like the fans. They have this mentality. I think.
Oh,
if
they
you
were
keep
starting
them,
to-
they start
they-
to miss
they
them
were
a
starting
little
to
bit when
bitch.
she comes back. You
Right.
might,
Right.
Yeah, what do I know?
Right.
Uh,
This family's effing incredible. Who sits at the head of the table in this family? Oh, I'm going to start some shit now.
Well,
I'm going to start some shit with the bloodline. It's The Rock. The Rock sits at the head of this table.
for now,
Oh, man, is that going to be a war or what?
that is going to be a war.
That's going to be a war. Joe's not going to like this.
We have the possibility of maybe having one of the greatest WrestleManias in the history of WrestleMania, if not
Did you
the
hear
greatest.
some of the rumors of some of these matches? You may scoff at some of them, though.
Go ahead.
They're talking about Roman Reigns, obviously, versus The Rock.
They're also talking about Roman defending one title on title first night and the second title the second night.
That's an amazing idea. Who would he fight the second night? Well, The Rock.
No, The Rock is the second night.
Right. Who would he fight
The
the
first night's supposed to be
Cody Rhodes?
No, I heard the winner of the Rumble. The winner of the Rumble. That's what
Is
I
that
heard.
Cody? I think it is.
Could be Seth.
That would be interesting, too. Okay.
Could be
All
anybody,
right.
really.
Have you heard about Logan Paul versus John Cena?
I have heard that.
What do you think?
Great.
Okay. Have you heard about the one that I know you'll scoff at, but if it does happen, would you be totally into seeing it? CM Punk and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yes, I would love to see
Oh
that.
my God, would I love to see that? Please make that
I don't
happen.
get it. I don't understand what would be behind it.
I do.
Go ahead.
They're both guys who took their balls and went home.
That's the mindset behind this?
I don't know. Steve Austin would probably be like, I could take my ball home better than you. What? I don't fucking know.
Usos against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Right. That would be great.
Lashley
great.
against Lesnar.
Lashley versus Lesnar would be great.
I also heard Lesnar against Logan Paul.
I don't like that match.
No.
I don't want. I want to see a match where Lesnar's really involved in a really great match. You know, not when he's going to win. He's not going to lose to Logan Paul.
All right, so you agree with the Anoa'i family at number 2?
I agree with them only because being number 2, only because of who's next. Because this to me is the most accomplished wrestling family out there.
Give it.
It's ridiculous. Wasn't Peter Maivia part of this family too? Is High Chief Peter Maivia?
Oh yeah,
part of this family?
I know your family.
Yeah, holy shit! What a fucking line this family is.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous.
That one you can't argue with, right?
No,
In my
this
opinion.
is the
just.
deepest.
I mean, that is the ultimate family.
Deepest on paper family I've ever seen. This is crazy.
You know, not to mention like Samoan SWAT team in WCW. I mean, it just goes. The list is on.
Umaga?
No, Samoan SWAT team.
No. I'm asking if Umaga was part of this
Umaga
bloodline.
is part of the family. Yeah.
I mean, it's oh my god, it's just insane.
Tonga Kid's brother, I think. Look,
Right.
It's very
Right.
hard to follow that. You know what I mean? Oh, that's right, Roy. You're right. Brock against Gunther. That's what they're talking.
Oh my god, I would love to see that.
Oh, that would be
I
friggin'
would
sick.
love to see that. I would be fantastic. What if they make it a 3-way and the third person they haven't announced yet? It turns out to be Rusev.
I would really like.
Rusev needs to get out of AEW.
I'm not into this 3-way shit. Rusev's not gonna leave AEW.
He's gotta
The guy-
leave it. He never
guy's
play-
just
he never-
collect-
he
he
never
doesn't care.
works.
Just collect the money.
It's true. He's getting paid to do nothing.
Yeah, why not?
Ugh. Way to go, Tony. Yuck.
Lou says, "Yep, Umaga, part of the family."
Yeah.
All right,
Crazy.
so who's the number one family we have
Well,
here?
they're the number one family, but the real number one family is the McMahon family. Primary wrestlers. I love how you put this because, after all, it's true. I mean, well, we can't call Jess McMahon a wrestler, but Jess was promoting going back to Madison Square Garden in the 20s. Vince McMahon Sr., who we grew up watching when he was booking cards for the WWF
Yep.
at the Garden. Obviously, he was the man for Bruno Sammartino's entire run, Vince Sr. Then we get Vince Jr., who created the greatest heel in the history of this business, Mr. McMahon,
Yep.
who created the greatest show in the history of this business, WrestleMania, who has created one great thing after another, whether he was giving us Hogan or Undertaker or whoever. He was just amazing. Linda McMahon, oh yeah, what has she done? Linda McMahon didn't have to do anything. Linda McMahon sat in a chair, drugged up, and stood up at WrestleMania. Remember that whole thing with Trish? Stood up, and then all she had to do was stand up. The place went crazy. Obviously, Linda McMahon's had her own quiet contributions behind the scenes to this business. Shane McMahon, who just kills himself every WrestleMania. Stephanie McMahon, who's a greater heel villainess than Stephanie McMahon's been over the years?
Very hard to figure that
Isn't, you know, Vince always gets the credit for being the ultimate bad guy heel for the guys. Can someone top Stephanie? What a bitch.
I was thinking maybe Vicky Guerrero, but maybe
She's not better than Stephanie.
No, I
Stephanie's the ultimate bitch. And, of course, the son-in-law, Triple H.
one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Of course he's one of the greats of all time. Of course. Yep, that's why they're number one. And I can hear the independent people just screaming and shouting. But no, sorry, we're not going to disqualify Vince McMahon Sr., Vince McMahon's grandfather, Vince McMahon, his daughter and son, and his son-in-law. We're not going to disqualify them because you don't like them. Too bad. He's done more for this business than anybody, and he's got a hell of a family. He really does. He really
Outside
does.
looking in. Now, I'm going to name some families. Tell me if they should be on this list of any of the 10.
Okay.
The Henning family, Larry the
Yeah,
Axe Henning,
that's a
Mr.
good one.
Perfect, and Curtis Axel.
Yep. I'm gonna let you tell me. Although I think I know the answer. Well, who sits at the head of that table?
Well, it's Kurt.
There you go.
I'm not going to get into that, though. I just want to know if
I'm
they're
just
getting our
curious. We
top
did
10.
it with the rest
Yeah.
of them. We
Will
might
they
as
get
well.
a-
Vince obviously sits at the head of
Does
his
the
table.
does the Henning family make it out of any of the 10 that we chose, or that I chose?
Good question. Good question. Wow, that's rough. Yeah, you know what? No, that's no. I can't do it. I can't bounce them. No, they're right there on the cusp. They get their honorable mention, I guess.
All right, next the Guerrero family on the
This is-
outside looking
this
in.
is
Dory
interesting.
Guerrero, Hector Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero.
8 in English.
I don't know where I got 8 in English from. That's why I didn't say it.
8 in English. I think it's funny that's there. Yeah, it's a great wrestling family. It is. Eddie, but if you take Eddie out of it, how aware, and no, this is not a question to you smart wrestling fans, how aware do you think wrestling is in general without Eddie? Of this Guerrero family?
Does the Guerrero? Do you think the Guerrero should have been on the top 10 list and eliminate someone like the Paphos, who seem to be a little lower on your list?
No, I'm not doing that. I won't do that. No.
All right. The Lawler family.
Great family, though.
The Lawler family.
Eddie sits at the head
Jerry
of
the
that.
King Lawler, Brian Christopher, Honky Tonk Man.
No, they don't.
The
They
Honky
don't.
Tonk Man's supposed to be Jerry's cousin.
They don't bounce anybody on the list. No. Jerry obviously sits at the head
But
of
what's
that
interesting
table.
enough, in a lot of our head-to-heads, Jerry wins every one of them.
Right. That's head to head.
Yeah, no, I got it.
That's head to head. Not a
Armstrong family, Bullet Bob, Road Dogg, Scott, Brad, and Steve.
family. This is a nice family. It's a nice family. I don't know if I'm ready to start bouncing anybody off the list. Who sits at the head of that table? Road Dogg?
That's a tough
I
one,
think
man.
he's the most accomplished of them.
He is, but I'm gonna have to go with Bullet Bob.
I wanted to too, to tell you the truth. But you know, Brad might be the best wrestler of the
Yeah, but
bunch
Brad
here.
was a proverbial enhancement challenge.
You know what though?
talent, all right.
Bullet Bob bored the crap out
I
of me.
couldn't stand him either, dude.
Bored the shit
No
out
mic
of me.
skills. Didn't think he was a good wrestler.
You know,
but
I'm going to put Road Dogg at
obviously
the head of
people
that
liked
table.
him.
That's what I'm doing.
That's
But
fair enough.
That's me.
Vladimir Guerrero, Lou said, you're right. The Smith family, Jason, yes, I had them on the outside looking in, I think.
Wait a minute. I heard Vladimir Guerrero.
Yeah.
The baseball player?
No.
The guy who could hit any pitch
No.
thrown to him?
All right, how about the Rodriguez family? Mil Mascaris, Dos Caras, and Alberto Del Rio.
Interesting family. That's an interesting family. Alberto Del Rio cannot sit at the table because he gets in trouble too much, so Mil doesn't even let him in the house. Mil sits at the table, obviously, as the head. I'm not bouncing this
Not
family
bouncing the list.
Nah,
All right,
nobody on there.
to go off of what Jason said.
Okay. Who did
This
he
kind
have?
of says trolling. Who's trolling?
Who's trolling?
I don't know.
we
Let's
said
see.
another troll?
Oh, R.J. Hudson says the Jarretts. I forgot about the
Right.
Jarretts. God, I suck.
Okay.
Okay. The Smith family, Grizzly Smith, Jake Roberts, Sam Houston, Rockin' Robin.
That's nice.
Not knocking anyone off.
No,
the
I
list.
don't think so. No. Jake.
Rougeau family, Jean Rougeau, Jacques Rougeau, Raymond Rougeau.
Okay. No, I'm not knocking anybody off your list either for that
Vachon
one.
family, Mad Dog Vachon, Butcher Vachon, Vivian Vachon, Luna Vachon.
No, I'm not. Again, it's another good family, but they're not bouncing anybody.
How about the Jarretts, which I don't have on this list?
They're not bouncing anybody either.
The Colon family, Carlos Colon, Carlito, Primo, Epico.
Man, I miss Carlito. I love Carlito, but they're not bouncing anybody either.
DiBiase family, Iron Mike, $1 Million Man, and Ted Jr.
Yeah. Again, nice family, but they're not going to bounce anybody.
All right, so you agree with the top 10 list.
Yeah, I would just
But
move
just
the Von
not in the
Erichs
same
up
order.
and the Rhodes family up probably, and yeah, not that much tweaking. That was a pretty good job, Mikey.
Lou says the Mountie had a good run.
Yes, he did. He did have a good run. He was excellent.
All right.
He did so well as the Mountie. I didn't even know he was part of the Rougeau brothers.
I know, you
I was just
forget,
like,
right.
shit, the guy did such a great job.
Yeah, you forget about
He
that.
did a great job.
All right, we're going to be right back with head-to-head. We're going to bring that back.
We are?
Yep.
Okay.
So once we come back, head-to-head will be, the first head-to-head will be Dusty Rhodes versus Cody Rhodes right after this commercial
What?
break.
Second. M&J Video Games and Collectibles. Sport and non-sport cards, wrestling items, autographed items. We buy, sell, and trade. M&J Video Games and Collectibles, located at 1049 Queen Street, Southington, Connecticut. Call us at 1-860-479-9223 or 860-93-GAMES. M&J Video Games and Collectibles. Oh, what's up, Mike?
Hey, Jimmy, what's going on?
Yeah, nothing much.
You know, Jimmy, I love this country.
Oh.
I love to buy Made in America material. And I love to buy my artwork at TAG, T-A-A-G, Made in America, 14 East Broadway, Port Jefferson, New York, 11717. The shop at the corner. Jimmy, I gotta take a dump.
What?
No, I mean I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and Pharaoh, where we're going to do head-to-head. We're bringing that back, and Pharaoh's going to give the rules where we're going to put the American Dream against Cody Rhodes. Pharaoh?
I love how I've got the rules memorized by now, according to you, which is interesting.
You do.
Luckily
Luckily
for you folks, I actually can remember my name today. All right, category number 1 will be Mike skills. How good are you on that old stick? You keep me engaged, or you keep me running to the bathroom with the runs because your promo sucks? Yep. Category 1, Mike skills. Category number 2 will be Matt skills. You're going to give me a good old-fashioned Donnybrook, or are you going to actually show me you know what you're doing in there? Hey, if you do the Donnybrook right, maybe you do know what you're doing in there. Do you tell a good story in the ring? Can you wrestle? That's category number 2, Matt skills. Category number 3, the it factor. Are you Terry Bollea, a.k.a. Hulk Hogan, or are you, give me a scrub.
Steve Lombardi.
Steve? The Brooklyn Brawler?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you Steve Lombardi before he becomes the Brooklyn Brawler? Do you have any it factor? All right. Category number 4, my personal favorite, the back of the baseball card. What kind of championships have you won? You got a Royal Rumble in there for me? You got a Money in the Bank in there for me? You got anything? Have you won something in Puerto Rico, for God's sakes? Give me something. What's on the back of your baseball card? Category number 5, the 5th and final category, the impact on the industry. What have you done? Have you done what Vince McMahon has done, or do you just cut big checks like phony baloney Tony?
Wow.
There it is, folks. The 5 categories for head-to-head. Who do we got today? Speaking of family, you're putting family against each other?
Family against family.
Boy, oh boy. Never turn on your father, huh?
There you go.
Put the family against each other, huh?
Well, I could have put Bandito against Dusty Rhodes.
Could have put Bandito against the empty Doritos bag.
All right, so Dusty Rhodes and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, this is rough. All right, well, Dusty Rhodes. You're throwing up Cody first? Sure, we'll do that. Cody Rhodes. Well, almost incomplete right now. I mean, Stardust gets a bad rap, but I mean, geez, Cody was Intercontinental Champion. I mean, he's done some things in this business. He obviously started up AEW. His return to WWE has been nothing but main event feel. Unfortunately, cut short by the injury. Cody Rhodes, for a guy who left WWE, it's fair to say he has had a hell of an impact on the business of professional wrestling since he left, and I do think they underestimated him.
That's fair.
You know, of course, Cody is going up against his father, the great American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Now, this guy's done everything, basically, outside of main event to WrestleMania. You ever think about that? Dusty Rhodes never main evented at WrestleMania.
No, but I mean, he wasn't a WWE guy.
But he
right?
did. He was a main event Starrcade guy, obviously.
Absolutely,
He's a legend, folks.
Well, again, if you're the booker.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, put myself in there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Sapphire. Yep, Dusty Rhodes, one of the all-time greats, former world champion, Starrcade, great booker, obviously, just a huge impact on this industry, one of the biggest names of his time. So, we begin. Mike skills. Cody Rhodes, who's okay at talking, versus the greatest.
Cody Rhodes has had some good little speeches.
He's good at talking, except there's one problem. He's up against his father, one of the greatest top 5 talkers in the history of this business. He's top 5. He's one of the greatest top talkers in the history of this business.
Fair.
Dusty Rhodes. Did you show the polka dots?
There it is, yeah.
Did you show the polka dots? This man got this gimmick over
He did.
with his mouth. For
did.
God's sakes, this is one of the greatest talkers ever. Sorry, Cody. Dad has just lambasted you. That's one for Dusty, none for Cody.
Can't argue that one.
All right, very good. Mat skills. Well, here's where Cody gets one back. Oh, come on now. Stop it. Don't tell me that Dusty Rhodes is a better he's a better in-ring storyteller than his son, but he's not a better
Isn't
technical.
that part of it, though?
It is, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna judge this on your moveset and stuff like that. And I feel that Cody has more of an arsenal than Dusty
All
Rhodes.
right, I'm going to go with you on that. That's fine.
Yeah.
1-1.
Did he tell a better story in the ring than quite honestly, that last match with Rollins with the injury,
Yeah,
he
it's
told
one
a
match, though.
told a pretty good story.
One match.
But again, I'm still going to give him the mat skills. I'm sorry, folks, but Dusty was, elbows, punches, and kicks for the most part, and not that there's anything wrong with that, because there wasn't. Okay, so it's a draw right now. Is the it factor next there, Spidey? We're going to go with the it factor?
Factor.
All right. Well, that's another one for Dad. Dad's got more it factor than son.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I was just thinking.
Yeah, I mean, one way or the other.
It's kind of a blowout on that.
It's
for sure.
yeah, it is.
I shouldn't
is.
Even I shouldn't even have thought
It's
about it.
not even close. Dusty Rhodes had such amazing charisma, and could match it on the mic. I'm going to give the in-ring skill set to Cody because that's just responsible. I think being responsible in a wrestling fucking, but it is what it is. So right now we've got Pop ahead 2-1. The back of the baseball card once again. Pop wins. Pop's sealed up this competition.
Pop's already talking.
Yeah, Pop's already taken this. I mean, Cody Rhodes will probably be a world champion before things are all said and done. And I do believe the greatest moment of his career is yet to happen. It will happen, I believe. But, this goes to Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. He's up 3-1. And what's the final one we got? The impact on the industry. Sorry, shit.
It's a blowout.
This is Dad wins again. Dad wins again. But I'll give Cody credit for what he did with AEW. But Dad has to win. Dad came up with so many ideas over the years and shaped and trained so many. And NXT, the development of the trainings. Now, I got to give it to
This
Pop.
actually is a lot easier than I thought it would be.
I mean, outside of the fact that Cody knows some more moves to match the modern era, even in that, Dusty was a better in-ring storyteller because Dusty just got so much emotion out of people. Yep, technically 4-1 for me for Dusty, and that was a landslide.
I want to remind everybody we had Maven on about an hour ago, so if you missed it, catch it. It was an excellent interview. After this show, Tony Atlas will be in here for a special Tony Atlas Christmas.
Nice.
But before we're going to do one more head-to-head,
Right.
get another one
What
in.
made you pick Dusty and Cody? Very interesting.
I thought it was in line with Greatest Families,
That's
right?
great.
I mean,
I
I
love
was
that you
thinking
did
about
that.
pulling one member of one family against the other, but I'm like, let's do an internal family.
That's
so
great. Great
in this
idea.
case, we're going to do head-to-head, The
Okay.
Rock versus Roman Reigns.
You sure we shouldn't have? You
pre-WrestleMania.
sure we shouldn't have left this till WrestleMania
Well,
weekend?
Let's get it
I'm
on.
feeling like we should have.
Let's get it on.
Wow, this is rough. All right. Once again, Spidey, why don't you show me those flashcards so I know where the fuck I am? Anyway, mic skills. That goes to The Rock. The Rock has better mic skills than Roman Reigns. I'm not even debating this one. Blows him away. Although the Roman's doing fine. Don't get me wrong.
I would say
The Rock doesn't need Paul Heyman. I'll say that too.
I would say that it's closer. It's getting closer. It's narrowing.
It's never going to be The Rock. My God. It's never going to be The Rock.
It's narrowing.
Yeah,
It's
but
still,
it's never
right.
going to be The Rock.
Well, we just said Cody against Dusty. That was a huge gap.
Yeah.
This is a much closer
Right.
gap. But
Do you
I
think
agree
he
with
could ever
you.
really close that gap?
Nah, not really.
The Rock just called it. He said it doesn't matter what we think. There's no way. There's
Yeah.
no way. I'm giving the mic skills to The Rock. Matt skills. Why don't you give me your thoughts while I really twist in the wind about this one?
I'm going to give this one to Roman. Both aren't great technicians, but Roman, for mat skill purposes, telling a better story, like we discussed in the last one. The Rock tells a better story, but it's a lot closer there. It's not a blowout.
With the modern move sets, Roman may know a little more.
Roman throws his MMA stuff in there. The Rock was,
All right.
I'm going to go with Roman on this. But I could understand if you wanted to go with The Rock.
I don't do this often, but I'm calling this one a draw because neither one of them, like you just said, are technicians. There is no one move that Roman does over The Rock, even with the modernized moveset, to make me go, yeah, he's better in the ring. They are, and this is a compliment to Roman, they're very similar as far as what they can do in the ring. I'm going to call this one dead even because I can't pick one over the other.
Luce says Roman is a better athlete.
He is. But don't forget, Dwayne also has the same background as Roman. Dwayne was a Miami Hurricane. He's a pretty damn good athlete,
So you got it 1-0-1. I've
Right.
got it 1-1.
Right.
Okay, next up.
Sorry to put a draw on it. I just can't pick one. Not there. All right. The next one would be the
It factor.
The it factor. The Rock wins this. He has more it factor.
Agreed.
He does.
Even though Roman has the it factor for this
He
generation,
does.
The
He
Rock,
does.
Rock.
The Rock is going
Again,
to
this is a very tough fight for Roman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's going up against The Rock, for God's
Right.
sakes,
So I agree with you. So I've got it 2-1. You've got it 2-0-1.
2-0-1, right.
So you almost got it locked up for The
I've
Rock.
almost got it locked up for The Rock. So now what do we got? The back of the baseball card?
Back of the baseball card. I give this to Roman.
Well, The Rock can't touch the fact that what Roman has done.
Can't.
is
No
the
matter what he's done,
what is
everything
the
he's
law.
done.
This is why I used to defend CM Punk when we would have these sorts of things. So I'm agreeing
Right.
with you.
Right.
I'm agreeing with you. This title reign is the longest thing since Hogan. So,
You got a 2-1-1.
Yeah.
I've got a 2-2 going
Wow.
into the final thing. Now, still, you could have a draw,
And you could,
and I could have a Roman win.
or you could have a draw if you call a draw on this last
right.
category.
Exactly. Yes, you're correct.
Wow. Impact on the industry.
This is the thing that,
The Rock.
as much as Roman is doing such a great job,
Rock.
he can never,
Yeah.
ever,
No.
ever
No.
achieve
What
what
The
The
Rock-
Rock has done, no matter how his
Totally
career
agree.
ends.
I totally agree.
It's an unfair fight.
Right.
The Rock has
Right. Right.
forever impacted the industry.
Right. Yeah, the winner of this competition is The Rock. And you know what The Rock would have said if he had been here? Finally, The Rock has become a subject on Head to Head.
Roy
We
says
finally got to him.
Roy says Roman needed a mouthpiece. The Rock didn't.
Right.
It's good, but
Roman's great,
The Roman doesn't
but-
need a mouthpiece anymore.
No, he doesn't. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine, but it doesn't hurt to have Paul there. Nothing wrong with that either. Yep, this is The Rock. The Rock wins this. God, please have them fight each other at WrestleMania, please.
That's true.
Can we get this already? I'm getting tired of this.
Getting
It's like
tired
every
of
year they keep fucking waving it in front of us. It's like,
All right,
do it
guys, it's
already.
8:18. I'm going to pick up Tony. He'll be in studio, and we're going to shoot for a 9 o'clock start. Might even start a little earlier if that's the case. So please hang in there. Tony's got a special gift for you for Christmas.
For me?
So, no, well, for
I was
the
going to
fans,
say,
for
I'm
the
getting
fans,
nervous
yeah.
already. Okay.
For the fans,
All right.
and it's great to have Tony back. I will tell you that was this Larson Markov says he misses Dan. Larson, I don't know if you go visit Dan's Boston Wrestling site. Again, it's a sad way that he ended his life. He says, Monte and Pharaoh, glad to see you guys. Yeah, glad to see you. It's a sad ending. I keep thinking, like, did Dan not feel well? Why didn't he go to the doctor? Like,
No
I'm thinking to myself
idea.
all these things.
I
Like,
never even met the guy, so I have no idea what he was dealing with in the final weeks of his life. I have no idea. None.
I just think, like, I wish he would have went to the doctor. You know what I mean? I feel bad. Like I said, I didn't know him either. I
Right.
talked to him once.
I was there when you talked to
Yeah,
him,
I didn't get
I
along
think.
with him, and that's
Right.
clear. But that's not even the point. The
Yeah,
point
that's
is, I just
nothing.
think, like, oh, geez, dude, you should have just went to the
Right.
doctor if you weren't feeling
Well,
well.
if I had gone to the doctor, they wouldn't have had to take out 2 feet of shit. So
Jason
I agree.
says
Go
that
to the
was
doctor.
fun. Again, I
Thanks, Jay.
want if you
Thank you.
missed the Maven interview,
Oh, it
I'm
was
telling you, it was
great.
golden.
He's awesome.
But please hang in there. We're doing a 9 o'clock special with the great Tony Atlas. I'm going to pick him up once we just close down this show. I want to thank you guys for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the greatest wrestling families, and I hope you enjoyed Head to Head. The old schoolers beat the new schoolers in these 2 rounds.
Not
As
too
much
surprised.
as I love Roman, but again, when you go up against The Rock,
Going up against The
I'm
Rock.
amazed because
And Cody had to go up against his father,
rebuilding the
Dusty.
channel, I'm putting up the videos, and it's like Jerry Lawler beats everybody.
Yeah,
in
he's
everything.
because he's great. The guy was great. He wasn't just an announcer. The guy was a top tier wrestler.
But you know what's funny? Like my wife said, she didn't even know Lawler was a wrestler. She thought he was an announcer.
There you go. We know different because, well, in 1982, everyone knew he was a wrestler. He had just bitch slapped Andy Kaufman live on David Letterman. You know, the guy was both. The guy hit the stratosphere as both a wrestler and an announcer.
All right, guys, love you all. See you at 9 o'clock very shortly.
You've been watching Monte and the Pharaoh, and we'll see you at 9 with Mr. USA, Tony Atlas.